Hey guys, I just had a pretty decent match. So the last few weeks, I've been really trying to play C a lot. I'm finally feeling pretty good about where I'm at, or at least I am average. So I want to talk about the fundamentals in C because there's there's a lot of things that go on with it, and things I've played my earlier matches as C is like, okay, even well, it's a struggle to win C in the first place, and then it's also after that you have to, like, what do I do with the C once I have it? So this is a interesting map for sure. Um, whenever you're looking at a map, some things that you want to, obviously we're going to be looking at, like, what's the wind speed, what's the tidal speed, those general things, the how valuable each mech is, stuff like that, and is there reclaim on the ground. And I'm just getting into these like a bit higher level plays recently, because like if I get just completely demolished in a game, the first thing I'm gonna do is look at the replay and see like what happened and try to steal those ideas. But another thing that you can do, somebody in my Twitch chat, the one day I streamed on Twitch and actually was talking, actually had a good turnout. Turns out if you're not just blaring music, you can get a few viewers playing bar. What am I trying to get at? Anyway, there's a website, just like Google bar replays, and then you can look up, there's all sorts of criteria. You can look it up by player and by map and all sorts of things. So, there was probably a different build that I could have done, because you can open up with, there's like a Beach Supreme build where you open up with a power generator, for instance, but I didn't do that. I did something a little bit different. My first thought was land here and then go into the sea, but then I was like, there's two players right next to me, and I could ask them for a con, and then I did the big brain move. I could just like ask both of them for a con, and that's just gonna get me in the sea that much sooner, pumping out units and walking my comm. So like, we also look at like what are the features of this map, because we could start here, but then your comm has to walk there, and that's time. Comm walks pretty slowly. It takes a while to get there, and it keeps your C from it keeps you from starting the build in C. So if you have teammates you can trust to give you a con to take these mechs, will let you give you a con so that you can take the mechs yourself, you're starting pretty good. And then there's also a Geo. We had an argument here, but I will, like, this guy felt entitled to the Geo, but I have two cons here that can start building it right now, so why not? So I did that, and I was like, why don't you just help me finish building this? And he's like, well, usually they'll be in the mindset like, well, it's mine and you're taking it from me. Well, even if I don't share it, the sooner that thing is finished, there's no way I can spend, 300 energy per second. That gets floated to the entire team, right? What am I trying to say? Anything I don't use gets floated to the entire team, and then once we start wasting energy, we can think about energy conversion. Yes. So that was one thing that happened. Try not to be a belligerent teammate. If someone asks you for something, just give it to them. I mean, like, if it's a C player, you should boost them with wind. Most of the time, like, look at the tidal speed is 20, the average wind speed is 12. So it's actually cheaper to build wind. When I open with a C, tidal generators are expensive. They're constant, but they're expensive. And they're usually pretty good. In this map, they kind of equalize. But yeah, well, and I had some blunders in this, but we were able to mitigate those blunders. I'm just hoping at some point this thing actually, I can never figure out how to get these replays to just jump to the beginning. I might even be better off starting to mute everything in these replays, including the player names and my chat, because I'm a spicy chatter. I would love... I don't want to have to edit this video. I just did a whole bunch of talking. Like, why isn't this replay starting? I'm just going to try again. I'm going to start it over. It's just so weird. Maybe the game's just freaking out. Man, you guys just want to skip ahead because I don't want to edit because the game just seems to have crashed. So the first thing that you want to do when you open up, I was going to say Planetary Annihilation, but I don't play that game anymore. It's been a long time, but it's like force of habit. I used to stream that game a lot, and that's where I get my minimal talking talents. And this sort of thing is about the only thing that I like talking about. So we'll go in the replays, click the replay, and hit start. And then I'm sure there's like some sort of hotkey that I just don't have set, or a command that just jumps the replay to the beginning. And if anyone can help me out in the comments, that would be great. Also, if you'd like me to review any games, I would be open to that. If you have any subjects in mind, yeah, leave it in the comments or send me a replay on Discord, maybe. Okay, so Legion was enabled, but I only really know Cortex C. Like, I was playing Legion C. It's got a little bit a different dynamic because the Legion frigates have depth charges. So they kind of play a different role. They're anti-sub, and their destroyers aren't anti-sub. Their destroyers like give vision and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll jump into it. I asked both of these for a con. This guy was great. He was like, don't pay. I'm just gonna give it to you. What a guy. And I also asked this guy to pay, but he's like, I'm not gonna share until I'm gonna walk over here or something. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Just give me the con. Like, we need the metal first. And I'm like, why do you want to go over here? What are you gonna build over there? And this guy build at least one. Okay, well, let's just little thing about Legion mexes, okay? They give energy, so this is equivalent to a solar, but he's trending towards what am I trying to say? It's trending towards stalling because he's gonna be out of energy. So you can build that, but it's not going to be able to do anything because you don't have the energy. And the sooner you build the energy building, the sooner it starts giving you energy. So you build this factory, and then it's not building at its full capacity, and then you have to build the energy. When in the first place, you could have just built the energy first, and then you'd have more energy to get blah, 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 blah. And this is like this game, you have to really think about these things. It's exponential growth sort of thing. The sooner you get that income coming in, the sooner you convert it into units and scaling and all that other stuff. And this is why, like, I play a lot of noob games. I just really have to stress this. Open with 1 or 2 cons and some defensive units. Usually what I like to do is like 1 con, one defensive unit, and I'm talking a light unit, usually, or a light unit, or grunt, something of that nature, something cheap that covers your cons, so your base, so your day isn't getting ruined by ticks and that sort of thing, or early aggression. It's easily countered by just having your own stuff, and you're almost, if they take that time to travel to your base, you're just naturally going to have more units. You should have more units toward your base. So it's not as scary as you think. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly what he does, but I decide to land right here and then walk to the sea and grab these, because I should, in full confidence, have the belief that I'm going to be receiving these cons, and I'm going to take all these mechs and then start building windmills. And then I realize that this geo isn't getting taken, so I'm going to take it myself. I start doing that, and I stall, and I'm like, if you finish the geo, we get the energy. It's a team game. It's not like I'm going to be hogging this the entire time. This never got upgraded. I forgot to turn it into an Amex, but the guy was a total Chad, and he shared me T2. He shared me T2, and then I had 2 cons, which was great to upgrade these mechs very quickly. But here trying to get into the build order now. With C, if no one's boosting you, I asked for a boost. I didn't get a boost. You get about 3 titles, and then you move your comm. There's like, well, what do you start with? You can start with a herring, or whatever equivalent. This was kind of scary, but like, let's look what this guy did. He took his mechs, and then he went into the water, and then he started building. You see how much more the sub is taking a while, so this could be optimized, I'm sure, but this is a good start. I'm pretty happy with this. So I get it. This was really fiddly because I've never done this before on this map. There's considerations with like, what am I gonna do? Build a bot factory up here? I don't think I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I'm just gonna take as much mechs until I encounter his comm, and then I notice there's this reclaim. So like, I don't know, for this, maybe ask for a transport from a light transport from the air player and a resbot, and then take this. That would be huge. I'm just thinking of this now. That would be absolutely huge if you could get a resbot in these islands to eat the rocks. That's a limiting factor early on with these big units in C. It takes a while to build the unit in the first place, and then you end up e-stalling. But I see these rocks and reclaim the rocks. I don't want to stall on M, and I'm just passively building something or stuff from this factory. I open with a sub, but this is scary because this light boat could come from either angle. So maybe I should have built a harpoon in this situation. Or is it a harpoon launcher? The T1 torpedo launcher, I'm thinking I should have built that. Maybe, I don't know. But this sub, I completely mismicroed this. Subs are weird. You have to like point them yourself, otherwise they're not going to point themselves at the target. So this gets passed, and this is just an awkward interaction. Like, oh crap, he got past me, and then the torpedo misses, so I have to go chase him, and then somehow this boat wins his boat wins this interaction, and then I'm feeling pretty good, so I turn the sub around, but the boat dies, so I have to go send this, and then this dies too, it looks like it might have. And yeah, I guess I just really have to learn how to micro my units, but that happens, but eventually, hopefully. And then this sub keeps going back and forth, like, oh crap, actually, no, I have to go back, and like, no, back, go back. But yeah, I want to open. What do I want to open with? Like this should have completely gotten shut down with one sub. So maybe I should have just kept the sub at home and maybe scouted with a single light boat. I don't know. Or made a herring. I don't know how well a herring does against these light boats. But yeah, you want to be taking the max as soon as possible. So I at least build one con, but this is pretty far. But I don't think that matters. And then I have to like worry, like, oh my god, if I have to pay attention to this, and there's a good chance that the construction ship gets destroyed when it walks past this pass. That's another thing you want to look for. I'm not too sure how to read this, but one of the first times I played this map, I went C in this position because I know that C trumps land, but it's really slow in these positions. I would say really you want to get the front to a standstill and then convert and then change to boats and control the sea, and then you've just basically won the game if everyone does that. But don't start with C because this is shallow enough for units to go across. Same with this area. So you have to secure the land first. Or maybe think about alternate ways of landing. So I'm just theory crafting here. I don't remember exactly what the landing spots are, but maybe you could have more players start in the sea and then use boats to just completely block this off. But then you'd have to have a player share cons, and that's, I think that's perfectly okay and worth a try. But yeah, there's maps where it's not immediately apparent, like there's areas that are and aren't shallow enough to build boats, and you kind of really need to pay attention to that. So moving on, yeah, I sent my com out to take these mechs, and it's like I have to be making these decisions in real time. Do I want to take the reclaim or take the mechs? And usually I want to take the mechs and then go for the reclaim unless I'm really hurting for metal. And then I'm like, welp, I should have more BP in my base, but I don't. We'll be feeling that a little bit later because I'm going to start stacking up. But these subs are amazing early on. Usually not good later, but they're good to do a little early aggression, and subs basically seem to trump most things early in the game. And I want to pay attention to this. Like, if I spot his commander, the sub's not going to destroy his commander on its own. And then also, I would have, if I wanted to take these rocks, I kept noticing like it's also reclaiming the E. I really don't want the E. But what I really want to do is get more energy. So I started taking this Geo. I should have had more energy. And I'm just like, oh, this is my Geo. Well, finish the Geo so that you can finish your T2, dude. Like, whatever. Because this is gonna that alone would like solve all of my energy problems. And then a little bit, as soon as this is up, we're all floating E. And then this was an unfortunate interaction. So I guess it was a little greedy here, but I was hurting for E so bad that I built this solar here. And I'm not doing too much poking and prodding with the subs, not intentionally, but I definitely in the future want to have two cons expanding because I need to take this, I need to take that, unless I can trust my teammates to go for it if there's a plan for that. But it's not really. He blew this really close. It was unfortunate. Yeah, now I'm getting people are floating me E, so that's great. And then all of a sudden I'm floating E, and then energy problems are kind of gone for a while. And then yeah, geos are just so important. Oh, okay, so there was this interaction here. I wasn't looking at it. So what happened was I encountered his comm, and my health was low for some reason. I can't remember. But if you do this, you have to. I got my. I want his comm to blow up too. So if mine blows up right next to his, it should. It won't always be enough, but you walk your comm as close to his as possible, so they both blow up. And then I have to ask my air player, or ask our air player to go ahead and reclaim these comms before they do. And it takes a lot of asking, and this alone could swing the game, because 2.5 metal is enough to, for instance, build a T2. That is this early game changing. But we're doing pretty good here, and you can see like I'm at 6k metal compared to anyone else, and it's because it's definitely a good part of it is I had help. And I was just more. A good part of that was because I was using my comm very aggressively to get these spots that only my commander could access without help. Yes. So I guess we could like get into more and more theory crafting, blah 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 blah. blah. Theory craft. Look up theory crafting. Oh, it's pretty. I learned what theory crafting actually meant. It's a StarCraft 2 term about people who had commented about how to play the game but didn't actually play the game. It's a fun little thing. It's started as like more of a derogatory term towards people who had opinions that they haven't really earned. So this is the thing. I'm floating metal here, and I guess that's not the worst thing. Well, it is. If I was playing someone better, and they had BP in their base and didn't screw up on their energy, I'd be the one completely screwed right now. But like, you saw that blunder earlier where one Legion light boat took out two poorly microed Cortex gunboats. So moving right along, I'm like, I keep pinging this like air reclaim this, and he's not making any effort to do so, and I'm not really in the position to like switch to hovers yet. Or not hovers. Not hovers. No, not hovers. Don't do hovers. Don't ever do hovers, please. Oh, dear God. If you want to troll your team, build hovers. Have fun. Go wild. But I will be thinking about how vulnerable looking at this it is to hovers, I guess. But hovers are so weak. They just get demolished by everything. So maybe while I was walking my comm up here, I should leave LLT behind. It'll do a pretty good job to deter most hover play. And then I was scared about this because I didn't have any BP in my base. And luckily I'm looking at this like 4 boats. What kind of boats are that? That could be 4 destroyers and it completely ruins my day. But luckily these were just 2 frigates and 2 light boats. And I'm just looking around here like, this guy has no BP, and he didn't make any moves towards these mechs. And you can see just like how much in a better spot I am. And then, oh, this team has completely forgotten to take these two mechs and this Geo. So I play a lot of new blobbies, so these you see this a lot, and I just, like, here's another untaken mechs, another untaken Geo. These mechs aren't taken, and now we can kind of now we can see like, what is this metal or how is this metal difference occurring? Surprisingly, they're ahead on metal income at the moment, so there might be some reclaim going on. I'm not 100% sure. If I double click, I can't. Sometimes I wish there was like a breakdown of like metal extractors rather than like a way to break down where exactly each all the metal income is coming from. That gives you a little bit more information about like the what's the base income, how much is it from expensive economy or from scaling. And looks like this guy was being a pretty big Chad and sharing win, but I don't think that these are spaced. So yeah, one bomber is going to chain this giant mess. Yeah, just space them by one. You're not losing anything, or do them in a grid of 2x2. I'm pretty sure there's no space between those. What does it look like? Yeah, this is one space, so it's pretty safe. So on these maps, I do choose to also, I ask for cons, and then I build win for energy production, and I also do title. I do both. Which is yes, very good. It's okay because win's better on this map. And I have the cons. Like, what else am I gonna do with these until I receive T2? And when I get the T2, I notice him building it, so I just sent these over to help build the T2 con. And then I don't think that they automatically like, if you right click it while it's in the factory, they don't automatically guard / assist, whatever you want to call it, the con that comes out. So you have to manually give it the order. So I did have the foresight to send it this way, but I don't know how quickly I caught it to actually have them assist. And you'll see like how the little tricks on how to quickly get your T2 max built is to have something else assist the T2. So we're good here. This was kind of clutch. I was building destroyers, and I immediately switched to frigates because the frigates are going to build quicker. And then I concentrate fire on one thing at a time. I may not have microed my sub properly. And yeah, this gets cleaned up. And if you get into somebody's base, target the title. Their title are very, very weak. So what do I do with this? Like, at this point, I'm like, man, I'm really hurting for BP. I think I'm good on energy, but I really need BP right now. So I queue up an extra con, and then I think one con builds in 60 seconds, 2 in 30, 3 in maybe 20 seconds. So I build a construction turret. That's what I'm talking about. About 20 seconds. Oh, these have better build power than the land ones. I'm thinking in terms of Legion or of bot constructors, but I kind of want to be careful. I don't want this to reclaim the metal yet, because that means I'm gonna float it. But what my options are, destroyers are good. The destroyer strength is range, and the Legion destroyer doesn't have anti-sub. that is what their frigate role is. But in terms of core, the oppressors are anti-sub, and they have a little bit less energy per build power. What am I trying to say? I think they have less DPS. I'm not sure if okay, weapon light cannon DPS is 120. I'm looking at a Riptide. Okay, and what is the destroyer? Hopefully there's a destroyer I can click, because I think it's DPS. Yeah, the destroyer, when you look at the DPS of the destroyer, it's the depth charge and the cannon, and I'm pretty sure it only fires the depth charge if there's a sub. Otherwise, it's not doing anything. But either way, you want to be using the max range, and the range is probably shorter with the depth charge range. I'm looking at this. I'm holding I while with the unit selected to see these extra stats. Range 720 for the main cannon, 400 for the depth charge. And I'm pretty sure it only targets. Don't quote me on this, but I think it only targets submersed units. So don't completely skimp on frigates, because I think someone said that sub frigate beats oppressor or destroyer early on, and then you switch over to destroyers. This has been working pretty well for me, I guess. It worked in this situation, but yeah, in this case, I have more units than him. And once I win the sea, my first thought isn't to go T2, it's to continue doing damage to the other team. This is pretty sick. I got the con, and then at some point I catch this and upgrade these mechs, and then I will later, once this is done, I will ask for air transport, and then I'll transport all these cons to this land. And I'm thinking in terms of Legion, but I often do not overcharge my mechs as Legion, because it's just it's slow for how much you pay for it. You usually only get about 2 extra metal per second, and it costs 250 just to get that. It's and a lot of energy, so I would rather just build energy converters. It's when you get the big fat mechs, maybe like 3. I'm not sure. I think about this and I never get to completion, because I just like, oh, there's too much to think about. But usually it's just really slow. It's better to use that metal towards winning front, or that metal and energy and BP towards winning your front. And just I like to go really hard on T1 and let my opponents pay for my T2, or pay for my transitions through winning my lane. Basically, doesn't always happen, and I'm paying for the other guy's base, but I play these new blobbies, so it usually doesn't happen. I like practicing winning. Honestly, I avoid the higher level lobbies for many reasons, but I feel as I get more comfortable with everything. I mean, I have like over 1,000 hours in this game, and I don't want to play these higher level lobbies. Another thing is that if I played in higher level lobbies, my OS would tend towards the players that I play with. So I stick to these lower lobbies until I am simply not allowed to join them anymore, because there's people will cap it at 25 and then 28. And then the last 2 weeks, I was like, I purposely was trying to play I was playing all these different roles that I'm not used to. And I think I'm probably still really weak in air, so I shouldn't move on. Because it's, once you get up there in the OS, it's like you have to pull your weight. And if you want to start learning other things, it's going to be a struggle because you're not going to be pulling your weight. You're learning new things. So, that's another thing. I've talked about this in another video, but this is going to be the more articulate version because it's more in the up to date, and I've thought about it and talked about it, and I have more well-formed opinions about it. But I think my first... why did I go amphibious right here? I guess I felt confident that I was going to win C at this point with what I had. So I think I was building a destroyer and then I canceled it, and then I could have even reclaimed this, but the first thing I'll build is these muskrats. They take so long to go up these hills. I noticed it. Sometimes I notice it. It's just so painfully slow. And I probably should have made a third one because I kept changing my plans. Like, okay, I need to get this reclaim. I need this reclaim, that reclaim. And then this is probably the highest priority. But like, okay, well, I need AA here to take care of this. And then I know that I'm going to get swarmed by air. So I build a bunch of herrings. Like, air's always going to come to the rescue when you win C, so make sure that you build plenty of AA. Otherwise, you're like, especially when you know that you're about to close out, but like the herring, it has radar, it has excellent line of sight, so that when your destroyers fire, that they actually hit stuff. And this is like a very healthy... I only have one destroyer here, and I didn't notice that, but then I have to adjust because this is a mostly frigate fleet, so I had to close it in. And I can tell, at least I have one thing that shoots depth charges to take care of this mech, so that, and it has to get really close to detect it as well. For whatever reason. Target down. I make sure to target down one boat at a time, and I have to rush this thing down because otherwise it's going to pick at me from range, and I don't want that. Clean up the base. I see my first target is going to be the tidal generators, especially if it's time sensitive, and I'm paying attention. Obviously, I'm not paying attention, but in this situation, I would have wanted to have a res boat or something, and this constructor needs to be doing things, grabbing these mechs as soon as possible, and it's just going to take longer because it has to do the reclaim as well. So having two here would be the play. I don't know why he's building a bot lab, but he is. And I'm going to swing around here and take out these mechs. Boom, boom, boom. Look around and find things. And then the destroyers are going to go on the shoreline, and I'm going to pick off any mechs that I can. And that's like, once this is why C is so powerful. Like the land really doesn't have an answer to it until T2. Like, okay, if you have starlights or artillery, I'm definitely going to back off. But like this is like it wasn't the world's fastest timing, so they will begin to have some answers. But I take out the mechs, and then I have the foresight that I'm winning this, so I'm gonna send salamanders. I make the amphibian. This is okay. What do we do here? How do we transition? Our options are usually seaplanes, which are very energy expensive, and I'm not sure how energy expensive the amphibious units are, but they're probably pretty up there. And it's just like, also we're playing this game where always playing catch up with my economy in these situations. Like, I have so much E to spend right now because I'm gonna get all of this reclaim. So like, the T2 is gonna be slow. So, and it's gonna be expensive. And in that transition, my day could get ruined. I don't want that to happen. So the first thing I'm gonna do is do some amphibious play, and I guess I could have attacked more a broader area, but there's also something to be said if I had everything in one spot. That's also good. But again, there's an air player, so I have to remember to make some anti-air with this, and our options with this are I don't remember the poison arrow is any good, but it's kind of slow. I made Gar pikes. I should have made salamanders. They are faster. Yeah, they're that's basically it. They're faster. A little bit chunkier, and then the Armada, I think some of the amphibious units have their own AA, which is pretty nice, but look that up for yourself. I don't have the answer for that one. Poison arrows are, I mean, they're terrifying, but it's going to take them, they're slow. They take a long time to get there. So if I was really smart, I'd have like way more extra cons, and then I would be building my amphibious. I would just build a base right here to be annoying. I had another game where it was a similar situation where it was like one of those big 2 island maps, and I cleared up my sea, and then I just want to build my factory closer to where they are, and I basically teched in. I was teching in their base, and it was just really frustrating because I had tons of anti-air boats around the other team's air player, but I continuously was getting bombed because our air player was, not taking his mexes, not paying attention, all that sort of stuff. So C is very important. You want to convert it, so you just have to bite the bullet and build your own anti-air. And then Blue's trying to get in the water, and this is optimistic. This is very optimistic. This is not going to happen. Maybe he's like, I'm going to build a bunch of subs and ruin his day, but I don't have anti sub back here, I guess, but I do have destroyers, and I'm going to see it because I have this nifty little boat that has anti-air and radar, and I see that. I mean, I'm going to see the blip in my radar, and I'm going to know what it is. And I'm like, okay. I'm the type of guy where I will let you finish that just so I can destroy it. And he's going to be like, oh, maybe this is such a great bait. Oh, he's going to bring in his boats, and I'm going to de-gun it. And I'm going to get in nice and close so that you think that you can de-gun it so I can destroy your commander. That's not what happened. I got too close, and I was like, oh, nope. And then they'll cloak it, and then you have to manually fire it because it's just going to be a radar blip. See, they're not. That doesn't act. The radar is not going to show you where a cloaked unit is exactly, or even. Okay, the cloak blocks vision. It doesn't block radar. So you'll still be able to see the radar, but the blip isn't 100% accurate. But you can increase that accuracy with pinpoints. We're not building I don't think we're going to have pinpoints at this point. What am I trying to do? I got to get out of this view. So I have to attack ground. I will manually tell it to attack the ground, and I'll make an educated guess, and then it turned out I don't know if it worked or not, but that'll increase the likelihood of the thing actually getting hit. And then these missile corvettes have very nice range. They actually outrange the destroyers. So, and then I have anti-air, and then the salamanders, which are not salamanders, and are slow. So this was a big oof on my part. And then I was noticing these aren't really chewing through the T2 mechs fast enough, so I'm going to go for the windmills. Okay, eventually I go for the windmills and I get some. They upgraded to an advanced Geo and they want to resign at this point. But yeah, at this point, now there's T2 Air, and oh my, dude, T2 Air is so good at just chewing through Navy. So that anti-air is like so important. But the only reason in this match I'm going to build T2 is so that I can scale first by getting my mechs, and then we talked about this earlier, I'm going to, once this is finished, and hopefully this Geo is upgraded, and this guy could have upgraded it himself, but he's being petty. Again, all of that E gets floated to everyone in the team, including yourself. It does benefit you, even if it's not your color. I'm not going to do that because he took my Geo and he took my mix and all that. No, be a big brain Chad for me, okay? And just like embrace the commie and respect the ego. Anyway, yeah. So would have definitely benefited from paying more attention to my assaults, because this could have potentially been more damage, and maybe this guy reclaims these, but these should have been salamanders. What am I going to do next? There's T2 Air, so once I feel like, okay, well, I'm not going to be doing any more damage with amphibious right now, I'm going to scale. I went for seaplanes, and then I'm just like, I'm not producing enough E, so then I have to build, in this case, a bunch of naval engineers to build tidal generators. I'm not going to be super quick. I'm not going to jump to fusion scaling, because T1 is often better and pays sooner. And then I will, at some point, I'm like, do I reclaim this factory first, or do I get more BP, or do I upgrade the mechs? So thinking in terms of priorities, we want build power, and we want energy to use the build power, and then build power, and then metal. I think does that make sense? You need to you need the resources first in order to use. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just tripping over my words here, but I need E. So I'm gonna send these in. I'm gonna space my titles so that they don't all blow up from one of them blowing up. I don't want them all to chain. And I'm like, I guess I'm building energy storage too, but I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to start it, and I'm going to cancel this. And this guy is, apparently our air has left their air feeling so confident that he can build mass mosquitoes and T2 gunships with very little fighter escort. But yeah, this is, I know that air is one of the good things about air is that it gets there sooner. It's the fastest moving units, but it's really expensive. You pay for it with how much you have to invest into it, and especially energy wise. What do I do from here? I made some boats and I'm just generally scaling. I'm not sure there's much more to say about this other than like, okay, we gotta manage our economy better. Because I think what would I do next? I would start building Shivas. And then personally I'd be making Shivas, but maybe the play is like T2 Air or like also maybe I could build a flagship. I don't like those things because they're slow tempo, and there's a time and a place for it, but it's not right now. So I'm floating everything, so I'm not sure. Like my attention is divided, and there's I as a C player you have to be thinking about all these different things, and I was like, when you win hard in your lane and then the other lanes around you are falling apart, it's makes you a bit sad. It makes you a bit tilted if you're me. Yeah. But if Sheldons do good against boats, but that one of the things I could have done, or another. Oh yeah. So this guy, you see how like this path takes so long for him to get over here. My play as any of these players who have won front is to get into the water, completely shut down any aggression, and then scale behind it and just pick away at their mechs, and then you basically win through income and denying their income, and eventually you just go over there and destroy them whenever you feel like at your own leisure. But if there were boats here, these wouldn't be getting across. So any sort of map with a sea, I'm gonna want to get into it as soon as I can. As soon as I stabilize my lane, I'm gonna transition to sea. That's what I'm gonna be doing now. Unless you can't do a lot of damage from sea, I guess. It's map specific, but very many. If with these maps where there's so much mechs on the outline, on the outside, close to the shores, you should definitely be using that to deny. Because mechs are your most efficient way at increasing your income and denying your opponent's income. Everything else is the word superfluous? I don't know, but it feels right. What do I do from here? Well, I would be thinking about T2, T3, stuff like that, or more air, any number of things. But orange breaks through and they call it. I'm trying to think if there's... Do you want to see what not to do? Can I can I hide the names? Let's see if I can hide the names in the chat. Let's see. You can see me being a shitlord. Hide. Not showing any spectator chat when being a player. Oh, it's too late. Let me look at the settings. Hide. Jeez. Top bar. Player. Got to type of player list. Can I just turn it off? There's all these different options. It's fun. Display selected player name as player only. Command. No. Kind of wish I could hide it or anonymize it. Anon. Nope. Okay, so I was kind of salty that I didn't get to BC. And let's not talk too much about what I did here. I tagged. I was like, that's a geo. I love Day 9. I was watching Day 9 videos late. But I gave him like 6. I gave him 6 wind. And then, obviously he was floating it. So then, even when he has the wind, I'm going to get the energy that he doesn't use. I'm like, dude, I gave this guy 6 wind, okay? And what does he do with it? Well, he built. I think he continues to build title. I'm over here. I give him 6 wind. I'm like, okay, dude. All right, pump out some units and start taking max is what I would do. So what do you do in this spot? Take your max 3 title, build some subs in a construction ship, and then your comm. This is very important. It's gonna start taking max. You're gonna take this one, then you're gonna take this one, then you're gonna take this one and this one until, yeah. What else can you do? If no one's taking these, you can. I was very frustrated with this guy because he decided to take mechs that other players could be capping. When there's mechs that only he can cap with his commander. I was like, oh, why? What? Huh? It doesn't make any sense. So here, if you want to see what I'm like, he opened with a sub, and I'm like, why is this guy doing? Come on. If you want to talk about what I'm doing over here, I made a bunch of cons, and then I was T1 scaling, and then got the geo, went T2, and then front was falling because I wasn't doing anything, and then I made a T2 arty here, cleaned up all the T1 or T2 aggression here, shared cons, and then we just won. And then I went for over here. And then I asked for a transport, and then I wanted to share more T2 to these guys, to the ones that hadn't got it. Someone made a T2 over here and didn't share. What is your problem? Why would you do that? I mean, this is don't overbuild the light boats. Sometimes you can commie and just outright win C if there's like two C players and they just don't know what to do, but it's completely shut down by subs. So why not just build the sub? Because the only counter to a sub at this point of the game is a sub. Destroyers are too slow. They can be circumvented. I think. Yep, and he's going for. This is good. He went for the title, and then hopefully he targets the mechs first. So Yeah, this is like, okay, he's basically outright won this lane, right? Nope. Maybe this con could have. You have to see. It's not in range. It'll never be in range. But this con may have been able to take this by going here and then manually placing the mechs here. It might have been in range. I don't think a construction boat would be able to build this one though. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, why are you trying to take these mechs, dude? Other people can get to them, and they're getting to it before you. Just do the right thing, man. Take the mechs that only you can take. Oh, it did get in range, but this one is like, why don't you take it, this stupid thing? And they like walks right past this one. Like, what is happening? More metal means more force projection means more metal. Means more force projection. And then I guess he was trying to attack this, which is commendable, but I guess it was not in range. Sad face. And then, well, obviously we need destroyers at this point. And he's like, well, I'm not familiar with Legiancy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. No, I don't want to hear it. So, I guess we're not going to be able to say too much about this. But, oh, a missed opportunity. The comm could have walked up here and taken the mix. But no, we're going to... What is he doing? I don't know. It's going to reclaim dude's base, I guess. But you have to take into account that this commander walks slow. He walks real slow. He's not the slowest, but he's slower than its movement speed is 38. Construction ship is 71. It's nearly double. What your comm does is it's a combat unit, and it gets to those hard to reach places. You walk up here, you take the mechs, or at least deny the mechs, or you take the mechs and you put down an LLT, and then you move on with your day. And this is torpedo launchers are optimistic because destroyers outrange them. And then we just keep going. I got T2, so I was really hurting for metal for a long time, and then I guess this guy, what a Chad, right, with all of my raging, he's just sent me a fucking boatload of money, of metal. So thank you, dude. Stuff like that wins the game. Getting the T2 out quicker when your dumb teammate goes quick T2 and I'm just over here and like, well, I don't need my comm here. I've also been think of every tech position as a front position, and I'm always thinking, I've been trying this out. I haven't tried it on glitters, but I think it would be also great on glitters, is win the front, outright destroy the opponents because they're down a player, and fund your own T2 with your ill-gotten gains, with your silly willy plays. So I'm like going over here and like I'm really hurting for metal. So I'm using my comm to as like the greatest extent I can, with hopefully not losing it, and grabbing all this reclaim. And I'm even like, oh man, well, I guess I'll reclaim some trees so I can get some more M with my conversion. And this turns out to be a great spot for T2. Blubbery Whale Blunder, he's like, thanks for saving me. I'm like, dude, you should be raging at me right now. I just like threw you under the bus. At some point, I use my brain. Okay, I get some riot bots out, and they just poof these light plasma bots. They just boom, 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 chew right through them. And then I just completely stop the aggression with this pop-up plasma. Yeah. So Red did some good things, but we need to work on some other things. What is a hovercraft? So the first, I would have played that differently, and this would not be happening. I would. This is a fun position to be in, and now that I know that I can make amphibious units, just like walk through the back line once you get back there. It is, as the kids call, T. It is T. They're trying to resign. I don't think the outlook look well. Maybe it does look bad, but yeah, we're winning. Probably. I don't have much more to say about this one. Look at the metal produced. It's even still, but this is. I think that's going to change because we get the T2 out, but I would love to see if you build the T2, you already screwed over your team on an all-front map, and you go T2, you screw over your team by going T2. So I shouldn't have done this, but I really wanted to, and I did anyway. I didn't notice. I needed to, get some metal production and then share. And I was going to do that. But if you get the T2, share the T2. If not, and the other team does, then you just lose by default. Or if you do and the other team does, you just win by default. But what trumps that, of course, is going really hard T1 and punishing a T2 transition that wasn't earned. Not much more to say. I say that there's like one hover unit that's at one or two hover units actually worth building. It's going to be these shotgun hover tanks. And the assault hovers and the rocket ones are also pretty nice. But we're not really going to see how well that they stack up. They're shooting air units. That's insane. But yeah, those could have been boats, but they weren't. Bump, bump, bottom, boom. I guess it's all. Yeah, this guy transitioned to sea. Despots are insanely good. Despots, the battleships, the T2 battleships just melt through T1. And if you can prevent this long protracted fight by just like winning super hard in sea before it ever gets to the point of T2, awesome. I did have a match where I decided, oh, well, I'm just going to go, I'm not going to transition. I'm going, because I didn't win sea hard enough. It was a standstill. And what happened was my air player wasn't paying attention, and I got hit with an atomic bomber, and it destroys like five destroyers at once per run, and I want to cry just thinking about it. I'm getting a little bit emotional, to be completely honest. My day was, oh my, I don't ever want to experience that again. And it's just making me think like, ew, air is so freaking OP against naval, or at least T2 air. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Especially against T1. Yeah. But how do we can prevent this situation from happening by just getting really freaking good at our T1 in the sea, and not let it get to that point. Can I look back? I just love C so much. I've been playing free-for-alls as well. I feel like I can learn a lot from those. Lots of proving grounds. I don't know if I don't think I have any more examples. Had some disappointing matches today. I guess that's it for today. Thanks for watching. That's how you completely clown on people on C/dominate. Some ideas so that you don't blank your next C venture after you completely destroy on C, or destroy people in C because you watch this guide. You're welcome. I'm out.